basic income. But for example, you are earning 1,000 and the basic income is 1,000, and I ask you, do you agree to work for nothing, voluntary? And maybe you say, yes, I like to do that, so I'm free by this payment. That's not my thing to be paid, because to be paid is like to sell your life, it's like slavery. I like to work voluntary, but maybe you say, you know what, I want to have 500 minimum to do that job further on, or whatever. So what I want to say is, today low incomes, little payments, will not decrease around about the whole amount of a basic income. People who have little money today will have more with an unconditional basic income, but wages, salaries will decrease. And for rich people or for people who are earning a lot, there's more space to negotiate also the basic income of your wife, children, the family is supported very well by a basic income, with basic income for every member of the family. It's just to think what will happen. And if so, the other alternative is inflation, and then it's the same way but different, is to understand, so we will decide that this main task of every today income, to secure your livelihood, that is the main and oldest task of every income, secure the livelihood, and then above. Then there are incentives about higher incomes. If this basic task of an income is taken over by an unconditional, democratic, right, basic income unconditional, then it is no longer necessary to have it in all the other incomes. So this is a principle. This is just understandable. It's not about justice and something like that. It is to understand, if there is an unconditional basic income, then there are not two basic incomes. Then this is a basic income for everybody. And all the other incomes will more or less decrease around about this amount. And that means in the prices of the products and services, where we pay income today, we pay the income by the prices we pay as a consumer. And in the prices of the product and services, also the taxes are included in the price, because the money comes from the consumer to pay also the income taxes. If you have an unconditional basic income, first, taxes can decrease because the state has to pay out less than today. Because all the employees and all the people, politicians and so on, get a bit lower income earning, because they have the unconditional basic income separately. It's the same in the private sector, so the costs of labor shrink, decrease, prices can decrease, and therefore there becomes a space available in the prices for a tax or levy for the unconditional basic income. Prices remain more or less at the same level. The high of your income remains more or less like today, but basic income is unconditional. So it's not about much more money. It's not about in addition. In addition means inflation. It is just to change the basic amount in an unconditional basic income, and then many things will change in society, but not that we have much more money. So if it would be much more money, then there is inflation, then the same process, like I said, will be done by inflation, and now we can talk a lot about other taxes. At the end, taxes are paid in the prices. Because in the prices of products and services, we pay everything. And everything what we pay in prices of products and services is income. It's all for income. There's no money for material stuff. Think about it. So money is always from people to people, not to gold, not to carbon, not to fish or whatever. It's always for income for people. And so today we pay all the incomes in the prices of the products and goods and services. And that will be the same with non-conditional basic income. Today the amount of a basic income is included in the prices, but it's not an unconditional basic income. Then we will have an unconditional basic income that will be also included in the prices, replacing the today amount of a basic income proportion in your income. It's not unconditional, then it will be unconditional. Also a portion in your income also paid by the price in the prices of goods and services, but as a tax or levy, wherever you levy the tax for the unconditional basic income. So I don't know if that is, in that short talk, understandable. What I want to say is, be encouraged to think of an unconditional basic income by yourself, just from the point of the idea of an unconditional basic income, high enough to live from birth to death, maybe for infants lower than for adults, for everybody, regardless whether you are rich or poor, whether you are employed or unemployed, because it's not about any circumstance. It is about a human being. It is about the appreciation of everybody first as a human being in our society with us, and we will pay it for each other. So if we don't pay each for each other, we have an old structure of feudalism, of royalty, of a higher class paying for. It is necessary for a democratic understanding that we paid. So, and to understand that today we pay the state, we order the government. It is working for us, and we pay it in the prices. In that way, for me, the last sentence, an unconditional basic income is the same idea like abolishing slavery, because it says your lifetime is your lifetime. It's your life. You cannot sell it. There cannot be another one the owner of your lifetime. And your work is your relevant lifetime, where you change the world, where you develop yourself. There cannot be an owner of you. It is the same idea like democracy, because what is democracy? It says there is no higher truth in our society than the decision of the majority of the people. If this is stupid or not, there's no higher judgment. It has a trust to the people, the final trust. What you decide, what the majority of the people think is the best, by their responsibility, by their life experience, by their awareness of all the others. That makes the law. So you understand, this is risk, but that is democracy. There is no higher truth of a god or a minister or a government or a king or whatever that says, no, people, shut up, I know what the truth is. No, the truth is a relevant thing, even if it's worse, it's not good maybe, but the ruling level is what the people decide to vote for. An unconditional basic income is nothing different. It's just another time and another sentence, another topic, but it says you are able to decide about what your life is more and better than everybody else. So you know how your biography should be. You have to find your way. You have to follow your values, your belief, your inner motivation. And maybe you don't know it now yet, what it is, but you has to have the freedom to go your way, to find your life. And that is what we give as an appreciation to everybody, and as a freedom to find your biography, to find the things you think this is the most valuable for me. And that at the end is the most valuable for the whole society.
We have time for a few questions, and we can have some questions asked during the panel discussion, which will be part of. So I want to ask Switzerland referendum specific questions. So what is the lesson of the Swiss referendum? Of course, it was not successful. What does that teach Asia Pacific countries that are now pushing for their own basic income?
That you can trust your own culture. That you have to go by your own culture. You know, in Switzerland we have direct democracy, and that is this possibility. And I think to understand that an unconditional basic income is not just one more model, one more, I don't know, instruction that you has to understand. But that is a thing that the people are understood by. So when I made the film Basic Income and Cultural Impacts, it was for me not so much about that the people understand the movie or understand the topic basic income, but that they felt understood by the movie, by the topic of unconditional basic income. It is much more to strengthen the people to understand themselves by this debate of the basic income than to pull the people into your thoughts. Therefore, we tried to use images to have a space that people can come to it. So not to pull it into a new model, some of thousands, but to give some force and strengthen the understanding of the people by themselves, that the people believe by themselves, that many people came out of the film or said, so now I understand, I can believe my own experiences. I can believe the way I'm thinking. And I thought I'm not allowed. It's prohibited to think like I think. And that's an important point for me. That basic income is not when the money comes. So that is at the end, the last point. Basic income unconditional is now. It is what happens in your conversation at home, at the party. It is that you understand more or encourage more to believe you yourself.